Masquerade is a powerful song from the musical The Phantom of the Opera. It so vividly reveals the mask as a metaphor for false social personas. What mask do you show to the world? And what do you hide beneath it? How can you synthesize into a more authentic self? Tonight, we seek what lies beneath the mask in this reading, Masquerade. Welcome, fellow Mooncats, to the second video in a series of 8 special readings that will take us all the way up to Halloween night. Each of these readings is drawn from an element associated with the hallowed evening. The custom of divination at this time of year is a rich tradition, as it's well known to be an auspicious time for communication with spirit. And so we continue the tradition with tonight's reading, Masquerade. If you look, you will see 4 masks in the center of the table. Each one creates its own presentation, and each one hides what doesn't wish to be seen. Option number 1 is the yellow and blue mask. Option number 2 is the Starry Sky Mask. Option number 3 is the red mask. And option number 4 is the pink gold mask. I'll give you a moment now to choose your mask. It's okay if more than one mask suits you. It's even okay if they all do. You can watch as many of the readings as you wish. For those of you who chose the yellow and blue mask, this is your reading. Welcome to your reading, Masquerade. So in this reading, we are going to get introspective and seek some personal truth. This is a moment for self-examination. And we're going to look at the mask as a metaphor. And this is a metaphor for the social personas that we project in order to protect ourselves. And we all do this, but there's an inner truth that sometimes gets neglected, and even we begin to forget what that inner truth is after a long period of time of wearing that social persona that we put on. And so this reading is to help you get personal with yourself and to understand yourself a little clearer, which can help you making choices in the year ahead. Okay, so I have a layout here where the cards mirror each other. And what we have is the external and the internal. Okay, so in card number 1, this is card here, is about the true nature of your inner self. Who are you truly on the inside? And card number 2 is how do you truly appear to others? Then next to that, we have card number 3. How do you act differently when you're alone? And card number 4, how do you act when you think people are watching? Card number 5, what do you think you're projecting to the world? What do you think that your mask looks like to others? And number 6, what do you actually project to the world? What does your mask actually look like to others. Number 7, what is it safe to show? Are you perhaps hiding parts of yourself that need to be revealed and maybe can be revealed, don't need to be hidden behind the mask? And then what should you project? What mask should you wear? Okay, so we're going to go through these cards one at a time and put together an overall reading, and then at the end I will pull an oracle card to help a little further. In the card number 1 position, here we have the King of Cups. Now, the King of Cups is a very charismatic and sociable person. This is a warm and affable person who leads from intuition, guided by intuition, rules their life by intuition, and is able to keep emotional balance. So although this is a person who's very deep into their emotions, you are a person who's very deep into your emotions, you're also someone who is able to control your emotional response so that you're able to maintain a balance. So your true inner self is actually very charming, a very charming individual. How others perceive your truth, they see a Chariot. So this is about, to other people, then you appear to be full of this determination and drive to keep moving forward and to succeed in the world. So you're just constantly going at this pace of charging towards success, like full speed ahead towards success. When you are alone, you become the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is also a determined person and a very driven person with a lot of energy to charge ahead, but there's a difference between that and the Chariot. So with the Knight, the response to changes is much more impulsive. The Knight can have still be charming and have this kind of quirky sense of humor. So you might be a little more comfortable to joke around when you're alone or just amongst your trusted few closest friends. The Chariot, you're looking very calm and in control on the outside, but on the inside, you're filled with this turmoil. It's tempestuous times. It's stormy seas are surrounding you right now, and you're on this roller coaster of highs and lows. And in this mix, in this turmoil of what's going on around you, there's an underlying conflict that needs to be exposed. So there is something that's putting you into this energy. There is something that is taking this King of Cups with the Chariot and turning you into impulsive and rash and reactionary individual instead of being calm and in control. This is something that you hide. You hide your insecurity or your feeling of, I keep thinking of a horse that doesn't want to be broken, jumping up and kicking back. And this is like inwardly how you're responding to the challenges in your environment, but outwardly you maintain a calm appearance. Okay, and the next one is what you do when people are watching, and that is when you become the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is very nurturing. She takes care of herself, and she takes care of her money, and she takes care of her home. She can be seen as a benefactor who helps to take care of others. So we have a lot of mix here of masculine and feminine energy. So you are someone who has a strong presence of both those energies. It tends, what I'm seeing so far, and it's going to be interesting to see if this plays out in the rest of the reading, but what I'm seeing so far is that you have all these masculine aspects on the outside and very feminine aspects on the inside. Now, this can be true of you, whoever you are, because energy is spiritual. We use the words masculine and feminine to define them, but that's not what they mean. The masculine is just a way of describing a certain kind of energy where we get out in the world and we get things done, and the feminine is used to describe creative and nurturing kind of energy. And so understand that anybody can have either type of those energies. Okay, and so in the next card, this is, what do you think your mask looks like? What do you think you're projecting into the world? And here we have Seven of Pentacles. Maybe this is somewhat true, because you're someone who's tending to the financial side of life. You're tending to your money and growing a garden of enough abundance to share. But what are you actually looking like to the world? You're actually looking like you're in Five of Cups energy. So there has been perhaps some sorrow, some disappointment. We see the angel offering a helping hand to the woman on the ground. She's very devastated by these cups that have spilled. And the angel is trying to tell her, don't worry about it. You know, but so there is something that has happened recently in your life that has So looking at this Five of Cups card, there is something that has happened in your life recently that has caused you some disappointment or some grief. And there is, at the moment, a kind of fixation on that disappointment and a kind of being stuck in the sorrow and in the letdown. But notice the angel standing here behind her, offering a helping hand, and notice the two cups that are standing. So when she is able to turn around, she's going to find that she has divine guidance, and that not only that, but she has the cups that she needs in order to keep moving forward. So cups are indicators of our emotional fulfillment. And 3 of them have spilled on the ground, which is very upsetting. This would mean that the water in the cups is emotional investment. This means that some part you gave yourself into something, and this could have been a work project, or it could have been a relationship, and it's just something that didn't work out. And then this has happened 1, 2, 3 times. So you're just in this place of disappointment and sorrow. And so what others are noticing right now, What you're actually projecting without being aware of it is this sorrow, this disappointment that you're carrying on the inside. So our next card is to ask, what is it safe to reveal? What is okay to reveal to the world? Take a look at that one, and we have Temperance. Okay. So you think that you have to hide this and focus on your money instead. So you think that, and here again on this side too, this queen was how you behave when people are watching. Okay, and so that is again a fixation with pentacles, and then what you're projecting is a fixation on your pentacles. So this is to say, I'm not concerned. What you're trying to project into the world, what you're trying to show, is that you're not concerned with the emotional pain. You're just focusing on your work. But in truth, that pain is there, and it is evident. It is showing through to some extent. Other people can pick up on it and know that you're in pain. So then we ask, what is it safe to show? And we have this card of Temperance. Temperance is a card of bringing yourself back into balance through a healing process. And so it is okay for people to know that something hurt you and that you are working on healing from that pain and from that disappointment. And so finally we have, what should you project to the world? What is the right mask for you to be wearing at this time? And we actually get the World. It can be very difficult if we've been hurt, especially if it feels like we're heartbroken. It would be a very difficult time to project confidence and complete belief in your ability to succeed, but that is what this card is asking you to do. Be secure in your confidence and your ability to succeed. And this is what to show the world, that you have faith in yourself. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is turn to the Oracle and get some clarity on your situation. And I'm using the Dark Mirror Oracle. I spoke earlier about how these cards are reflections of each other, the internal to the external, and the Dark Mirror helps us to see the reflection of our shadow self. Perhaps that side of ourself that we don't want to see or admit to experiencing. And your Oracle card is Anger in Chains. Okay. So what this is saying is that you're in a situation where you need to break free. You are feeling as if you are in chains, as if you haven't got the freedom to be yourself. And your anger is building. It's building. And we see how disjointed and scrambled this image is. And what's happening is, this is what's happening to your perspective. The anger is rising and your perspective is getting more and more confused. It's scrambled by the anger. And to get clarity is to embrace your anger and break the chains that are restricting you. And this could very well mean that someone is breaking your heart at this time by mistreating you or being overbearing, dominating, controlling. This kind of relationship could be a romantic partnership, or it could be a family or even a friendship that has turned sour. in such a case, it's time to roar like that lion in the center of the card right there. It's time to roar. It's time to roar your truth. Let your anger out and be prepared to walk away from that relationship if it cannot be resolved. Then can you come into your energy of temperance? And it's okay. You don't have to hide as much of what you're going through as you feel that you do. It's safe to express that you're healing from the situation and that you're in recovery. But you are honestly asked, I'm just going to put that in the middle there, you are honestly asked to not only portray confidence in your ability to succeed, but also actually authentically, fully, truly believe in it. Embrace your own authenticity. Embrace your ability to succeed in the world. And it seems here that you do have that ability with a charming personality and with careful attention to your pentacles. It seems that, yes, you do have the ability to achieve that world success that's indicated by the card. Okay, so this concludes our Masquerade reading. I hope that you enjoyed it and found something valuable in the messages. If you did, you may want to check out some other Halloween videos. On my channel, Mooncat Tarot, you can find the playlist Halloween Read-A-Thon. And for 1 week leading up to the night of Halloween, I'm going to be posting a new video each night, and each video is Halloween themed. And hopefully you can find some interesting and valuable messages within them. If you would like to be notified when those videos come out, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and click on the bell to get your notifications. If you liked the video today, please hit that like button and maybe share it with a friend and let them know how interesting the reading was. I appreciate your support and your viewership. Thank you for watching, and I shall catch you in another video. Those of you who chose the Starry Sky Mask or mask number 2, this is your reading. Welcome to your Masquerade reading. So in this reading, we are using the mask as a metaphor for the social personas that we put on to protect ourselves. But sometimes we become so accustomed to adjusting ourselves to fit in that we tend to forget who we are authentically within ourselves. And so in this reading, we're going to get introspective and get personal with ourselves, finding out, getting back to the truth of who we are. So I've done this layout so that the cards are reflections of each other. And in the top row, we have the cards representing aspects of your inner self. And in the bottom row are the cards representing aspects of the external self that you project. So in the card number 1 is going to be, who are you authentically? What is your authentic true self? And in card number 2, how do others perceive, or what do others perceive your authentic true self to be? In card number 3, how do you act when you are all alone? And in card number 4, how do you act when you know people are watching? Card number 5, what mask do you think you're wearing? What do you think that it is you're projecting into the world? And card number 6, what you are actually projecting. What mask you're actually showing to the world. Card number 7, what is it safe to reveal? What can you reveal to the people around you? And card number 8, what should you project? What mask should you be wearing? to show to the external world. Okay, so let's begin turning the cards to get your reading. In spot number 1, we have the Four of Pentacles. This is representing your true authentic self. So at this moment, what's authentic and true is that you're very concerned about your foundation. You're concerned about your security. What's on your mind and in your heart is the desire to make sure that you have what you need to provide for yourself. Often this card comes after going through an experience where you didn't have what you needed. Your security was threatened in some way, and it left an emotional and mental mark on you, so that now you're concerned about making sure that you always have the basics that you need. When others perceive you, they see a Page of Pentacles. So this is someone who manages money very well. A Page of Pentacles is cautious, but they manage the details very well. They're able to check and double check all of the details involved in a situation. And so the perception of you is that you're good at this, and that you are good at managing finances, and you're seen as hardworking, reliable, dedicated. You're trustworthy, and you're seen as having the potential to achieve great things. So there are opportunities. So since you are perceived as someone who has the ability to handle that, there are opportunities that will come to you from people having this perception of you. Okay. And then next is card 3. And this one is fun. How do you act when you are all alone? Here we have the Wheel of Destiny. So when nobody's watching, you're extremely optimistic. The Wheel of Destiny says anything is possible, and you're viewing your future with a great deal of excitement. You don't really show that to everyone. You're keeping your excitement to yourself, but you're feeling like anything is possible, and that anything at all could be possible for you. Okay, and then how do you act when you know people are looking? When you know they're looking, you are a Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a very sociable person. They have a great sense of humor and a lot of charisma, and they're very charming, and they have an influence because of their popularity. This might be like people who would be an actor, or who would be involved in the kind of work that requires great social skills and great communication skills. Okay. You're also very good at expressing yourself, or giving your creativity expression. And this is how you are when you know people are watching. Okay, and then going on to What do you think that you are projecting to the world? What mask do you think you're wearing? And up comes the Knight of Pentacles. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the deck whose horse isn't charging. His horse is standing still on the top of a hill overlooking the land. And so the Knight of Pentacles, in his area of knowledge and expertise, which would be finances, money, security, is methodical. He takes the time to survey the environment, what is going on. He's observant, methodical, and steady in approach. And so that is what you believe that you project into the world, that you're responsible with money and methodical and cautious in your choices. What you actually project into the world is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups, dealing with the Suit of Cups, is an emotional card. And the number 4 is a static number because it's a number of foundational energy, or like a stronghold. And when you try to mix these two, what you end up with is stagnancy. So this is showing that you are bored and dissatisfied, that you're feeling unmotivated and are in need of inspiration at this time. The routine is just no longer inspiring, and it's showing just this lack of inspiration, this lack of motivation. Okay, so what is it safe to reveal? And what we have in this card is the Six of Swords. So this is a card of moving on, and I don't necessarily mean permanently moving on. This could mean simply that you need to break the routine. So it is okay to express that it's time for you to take a little break or get a break from work at this time. So noticing that there is a lot of concern about Pentacles here, and that seems to be the core of the reading, is that security and financial stability. All right, so the final card is showing you what you should project, what mask you should be wearing or showing to the world, and this is the Lover's card. And since we are concerning you and yourself, your relationship with yourself, and how you present yourself, what this means is showing yourself to be in harmony, in a peaceful state, showing yourself to be unified and healed in regards to that Four of Pentacles energy. So I'd like to turn at this time to the Oracle, the Dark Mirror. We are seeing that these cards, as I mentioned before, are reflections of each other. And the Dark Mirror is about looking into the reflection of your shadow self and what do you see there. And your message is peaceful among the thorns. So this is a Buddhist monk who has managed to find enlightenment, even though he's being aggravated or annoyed by the thorns. So the message here is that Spirit can't stop what happens in the physical world, but can help you to rise above it. And so your focus is on being in harmony enough that your sense of self and your personal stability don't have to be rocked. You don't have to be affected by that experience that you had anymore. It's getting comfortable among the thorns. So the thorns are still there, but your attention to them is gone. Okay, that concludes our Masquerade reading. Thank you for watching. This is the second in the series of videos that are leading up to Halloween. So if you're interested in viewing more, go to my channel, Mooncat Tarot, and find the playlist Halloween Read-A-Thon. And then you'll see all the other videos there that are going to be posted, a new one each night, all the way up to the night of Halloween. If you did find this video likable, please hit the like button and maybe choose to share it with a friend or two who might be interested in choosing their own reading as well. So once again, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in another video. For those of you who chose option number 3, the red mask, this is your reading. Welcome to Masquerade. In this reading, we are examining the mask as a metaphor for the social personas that we take on in order to fit in. And sometimes we can put so much energy into fitting in and taking on the roles that we need to take on in order to do that we actually lose sight of who we are or who our authentic self is. And so in this reading, we're going to do some introspection. We're going to look deep and find the truth of who is your authentic self. I've laid the cards out so that they are reflections of each other. And in the top row, we have the cards that are relevant to your inner self. And in the bottom row are the cards that are relevant to your external self. So I've done the cards like this. Card number 1 is the nature of the true authentic nature of your inner self. Card number 2 is how others perceive your truth. In other words, how do other people believe your true self to be? And then in card number 3, it's how do you act or behave when you're all alone? Versus card number 4, how do you act or behave when you know people are watching? And in card number 5 is what do you think it is that you project into the world? What do you think your mask looks like to others? But card number 6, how does your mask actually look to others? Then we have card number 7, what is it safe to reveal about yourself? What is it that you do not need to mask? And in card number 8, what mask should you present to the world? Okay, and so we'll begin with that. And then at the end of the reading, I'm going to bring in some oracle cards for guidance going forward. Okay, so here we go with card number 1. What is your true authentic self? And in card number 1, we have a 10 of Pentacles. So this is such a beautiful card to have in that position because look how abundant this card is. Of course, 10 of Pentacles. But this card, it's flourishing. Look at all this greenery, the flora, the fauna. This is a world colored by rainbows. This is a world filled with grand potential. And that's the energy that you're in right now. Your true authentic self is to be flourishing in this way. So that's a very beautiful card for you to have. And this card is versus how others perceive you. And that is quite different. So we have here that you are perceived as very defensive. In the Five of Wands energy, this is a card of conflict. And so you're seen to have very strong opinions and you're quick to share them. That would be how others are perceiving you at this time. So how do you behave when you're all by yourself and nobody's watching? In that case, you are the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Pentacles is very good at managing finances. The page is someone who is hardworking and very reliable and dedicated to their job. This is a trustworthy individual. So it's interesting that when you're alone, you're behaving in a more socially acceptable way than you seem to be perceived in public, which is very defensive. Okay. So at this time, also going back to card number 3, when you're alone, you feel safe to embrace your optimism. And that is why when you're alone, you're flourishing and you're I was going to say opportunistic, but it's not the right word, but opportunities are there for you. There's a big difference here between your alone persona and your public persona, because you don't feel safe when you're around other people and you become very defensive. Okay. Now, this is card 4, and how do you behave when you know people are looking? And then you become the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is an individual with a very quick intellect. This would be a quick-witted person. Quick-witted person. A person with a powerful intellect. The Page of Swords as a person is clever. They learn very quickly. They have a quick mind. And they're very forthright with their words, not shy. But sometimes this can lead to remarks that inadvertently hurt others. Not that it's your intention, but that it is just what happens because your communication is blunt. Okay, and then moving on, we have, what is it that you think that you project to the world? And this is the card of Justice. Okay. So you believe yourself to be very fair and very balanced. You believe that when you're taking a stance, as in the Five of Wands, when you're taking that stance, that you're doing this in a just and fair way. And you're showing people that you're standing firm, that yes, you do defend yourself, but that you're doing it justly. All right. And then what is actually being perceived by the world, and this is Queen of Swords energy. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is a master of self-defense. She's extremely incisive, and she has a very sharp tongue. So she can be quick to cut, is how I would describe the Queen of Swords. And so you're perceived as someone who's very defensive and very quick to cut. Okay, and now moving on to the next card is, what is it safe for you to reveal to others? And we have a Two of Pentacles here. So it may be that you're in a position of authority or some kind of leadership position, and you're feeling like you have to always appear to be in control and to have all the answers, and that it's okay to reveal that sometimes maybe you don't have the answers, and you're balancing things out, or you're making that decision. It's okay to be indecisive in the process of getting to the place where you make the final decision. So along the way, it's okay to share that with people, that you're working it out. And you don't have to always appear to be perfectly in control of everything all the time. And so then the final card is asking what you should project to people. And this is Queen of Wands. So this would be a unification, like a softening of that Queen of Swords, but also a unification with that Ten of Pentacles energy. So if you can portray to the world that focus on your creativity, so this is stepping into your power, not in a way that's cruel or cold with others. The Queen of Wands is very warm, actually. But this is just having the true confidence to stand in your power in a way that doesn't have to be so defensive. Maybe just softening that up a little bit. Okay. So now let's take a look at some of the oracle cards that have come out for you. And I'm using the Dark Mirror Oracle. Now the Dark Mirror is about looking at the reflection of our dark side and seeing what truth lies there within. Okay, and the first card for you is Gilded Regret. So this is a card of sort of aggrandizing the past, being a little overly sentimental about the past, and then getting stuck on it. Getting stuck on either really actually trying to revert back to an earlier state, or getting stuck on just dwelling in the memories of a golden time, or what you perceive to be a golden time. And then let's say there's a time machine, you could actually go back to the moment that you're stuck on, and you would probably find it was not as wonderful as you're making it out to be in your mind. The second card that comes out is Alone in the World. And again, this card does point to being stuck. This is also a card of waiting, waiting for something to return to you in the oracle. But this is not going to come back. So this is like wanting to be more like your childhood self again, or to go back to an earlier stage of your life and wanting to relive who you were in that moment. But life and time has shaped you into someone different. You're not going to get back to that. What you are going to do, however, is be able to move on to a new day and move on into new energy. We see that in the waiting card, this is a half moon, which is to say that she's perfectly still in this moment, but about to move on towards the full moonlight. So this may be what leaves you feeling defensive. Perhaps it's some sense of like a lost innocence, or some sense of life just not living up to all of your expectations. But if you can release that, if you can let that go and stop waiting for this to come back to you, just release it instead of waiting, and then find your Queen of Wands energy. You find this energy and embrace that. You show that to the world, and that's going to carry you forward in life instead of being stuck in the past. Okay, so for those of you who chose the red mask, this concludes your reading. I thank you for watching, and I invite you to tune in for the rest of the Halloween readings. I am completing a Halloween Read-A-Thon, which will be occurring over the entire week of Halloween, one new video each night, with a pick a card reading that has a Halloween theme of some sort or another. I hope that it's very entertaining and interesting, but also very valuable for all those who watch. So if you are interested, head on over to my channel and look for the Halloween Read-A-Thon playlist. My channel is Mooncat Tarot. And if you like, you can hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, when a new video is posted, you'll be notified right away. Okay, so once again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. For those of you who chose pile number 4, the pink gold mask, this is your reading. So welcome to Masquerade. In this reading, we're looking at the mask as a metaphor, and it's a metaphor for that social persona that we put on when we need to fit into different roles or different groups of people. And this is something that we all have to do as part of life every day. But sometimes we become so accustomed to putting on a persona that we start to lose our true authentic self. And so in this reading, we're going to get introspective and go deep. And we're looking for the truth of who your authentic self is. And we're looking at the different aspects of that metaphor of wearing a mask, and for what is the best way to handle that aspect of life as it does become necessary. So once we've done that tarot card reading, and once that message is complete, we will pull guidance from the Dark Mirror Oracle. Okay, so what I've done is I've laid the cards out on the table in such a way that they can be a reflection of each other. So in the top row, we have what is your inner persona. And in the bottom row, we have what is portrayed externally. So I'm going through the different aspects here. And number 1 card would be this card at the top. And then the number 1 card, this is who your really true authentic self is. And then the number 2 versus number 2 card, or the reflection of number 2, is how other people perceive your true self to be. Maybe not the actual truth, but what they perceive that to be. And number 3 is how do you act when you're all alone and nobody's watching? And number 4, how does that compare to how you act when you know people are watching? And in card number 5, it's what do you think your mask looks like? In other words, what is it that you think you're portraying to the world? And then card number 6 versus that. How are you actually being perceived? What is it safe to unmask? That's card number 7. In other words, you don't need a mask for this. And in card number 8, what mask should you project? What is a good mask to show, or a good way to handle that need to show a mask to the world? All right, so we're ready to begin. Let's take a look at the start of your true, authentic self. We begin here with card number 1. So in this card, we have a 6 of Cups. And a 6 of Cups is the card of nostalgia, or the card of childhood and youth, or that inner child. And I see this woman appears to be in a wedding gown. And if we look very closely, I'm going to bring her in slowly. If you look very closely, we can see a very serene expression on her face. We see a golden light surrounding those images on the wall, presumably from the past. I see golden orbs over what may be her own picture of herself in the past. And we see that stardust over the flowers there. All of this is telling me of someone who smiles upon the experiences of their past and wisely is at peace with the experiences that were there. So if we look at these multiple vases or cups and we see them flowering, this is someone who looks at their past and doesn't see spilled cups, but sees beautiful and bountiful growth from what was learned in the experiences of the past. Okay, we move from that to card number 2, and how do others interpret you? And you are seen here as the Ace of Wands. Powerful thing to be an ace. So wands are life force energy. This is the creative force of taking, let's say, a concept, turning it into an actual novel. So this is, or a painting, or some invention, or a new entrepreneurship. The idea is to have that power to make it real. And that is what the Ace of Wands, the significance of the Ace of Wands versus all the other wands is that it shines over every aspect of your life. And so we're talking about you being perceived here as an extremely creative individual who's just shining their light, letting their light shine. And in card 3, it asks, how do you behave when you know that nobody is watching? And this is a card of perspective. In the traditional tarot, this would be the Hanged Man. So when you're alone and we see this clock ticking, when you're alone, you are very much a contemplative person. You already have introspection. You already have contemplation. And we see this like solar plexus light shining through the clock. And that's the energy of confidence. That's the energy of confidence relating back to this Ace of Wands. Solar plexus energy is that energy of confidence to get things done in the world as well. So you're just filled with this energy inside and out of being able to create. Okay. Perspective means that you have an open mind here too. So when you are at home alone and in your own energy, you have a very open and inquisitive mind. You are able to change perspective. You're inquisitive and curious, and that eagle there means that your perceptions are sharp. An eagle sees from very far away. You may want to look into an eagle totem as a spirit animal as it's showing up on this card. Okay, so there's some very powerful things here about who you are. Let's see how you behave when you're in public and you know people are watching. And here we have Queen of Wands energy. So the Queen of Wands, again, because it's Wands, we're talking about that creative life force. And when we talk about a queen or a king, we're talking about leadership. So in this case, the Queen of Wands, she leads her life by this creative energy. And she's also a very sociable, warm-hearted person who makes a lot of connections to people. She's very charismatic and has an allure that draws people in. Okay. This is Queen of Wands, and I'm using the term she and her, but understand that you could very well be a male, and this would be your feminine aspect. Your feminine aspect being the creative force within you. Okay. So, what is it you think that you're presenting to the world when you put on a persona? And what you think you're presenting is 10 of Cups. Very beautiful energy. So this would be someone who's like all the cups of life are filled and well balanced. We see them stacked up in the pyramid form here. All the cups of life are filled and well balanced. They're not going to spill. They're stable, and life is fulfilling and happy and just a joyous and beautiful experience. We see starbursts. We see a rainbow. And so what you're presenting to the world is someone who, for whom life is beautiful. Okay, and so what do people actually see in you? And what they see is someone in Two of Pentacles energy. And this means you're balancing life. You're balancing life out. Okay. At first I thought the bridge was falling apart because I saw this piece here. But on closer inspection, that is just another indicator of balance, as that's a hook on the bridge and it's hanging down these two pieces. So that's just, the bridge is to symbolize balance. Well, I do not know what to call it. They're not justice scales because they're flat, vertically flat. Oh, maybe, no, sorry, that's the illusion in the drawing. They are justice scales. Okay. So you're living a balanced life. You're living a balanced life. That's as it should be. This is why the justice scales are there. As far as animal guides and messengers, here we see bees. Bees are about productivity, and producing honey would be like that golden, the golden liquid of your creation. In other words, the color gold being pure, high vibrational spiritual energy. Like what you create is pure gold. And as I say, the perception fits actually very well with what you think you're projecting. So there is a good balance there. Remembering that I'm using only one tarot deck, so the same card couldn't possibly come out twice. In that case, what we have is a card that's very close in meaning. So I'm interpreting this Two of Pentacles in a positive way. It does have negative aspects to it, which would mean that you're juggling and struggling to balance. But in this card, I don't get that sense of struggle. What I get is the sense that the balance is achieved. And so that is another way to interpret the card. So seeing that it's talking about life balance and that there is this strong presence of justice and there's the suggestion of creativity in the bees, then what I'm seeing here is a card that matches very well. What you think you're projecting is what you're projecting. People see you living a beautiful, balanced life. Okay, and then card number 7 is, what is it safe to reveal? What is it that you don't need to hide? And here we have this card of Judgment. Now, there's some very interesting symbols on this card that I will point out. And one here is the phoenix rising from the ashes of the fire. And it's a spiritual awakening. And here with the phoenix, we see to a spiritual awakening in you, which calls you into which calls you into emotional balance. And I see here this beautiful pink light in the card. And so I'm looking at pink and gold, which was the color of your mask that you chose. And this pink light is a light of self-acceptance and self-love. And you are just wrapped in this energy. This is not conceit. This is a good, balanced self-love. And that is safe to show people that you are developing. You're developing spiritually, you're developing emotionally, and you're just growing on down the path of life and ready to meet what comes. Okay, and then finally, what should you project to the world? And so finally we have the Knight of Wands. Okay. A lot of wands in your reading, a lot of reference to this creative force, this life force energy, and the Knight of Wands has it as well. The horse that this knight is on is dancing in the desert. And so the Knight of Wands continues with this life force, this creative energy that you're just channeling at this time. The Knight is an innovator and an inspiration to those who are around him. You've probably had a rich life with a lot of valuable experiences, and the Knight of Wands is able to tell those stories. This is time for you to show your ambition. Don't be afraid to let it show. It is okay to have ambition and let that be revealed to the world. In fact, leading with ambition is going to take you in the right direction. Okay. All right. So after the tarot, then what I would like to do is pull an oracle card for you. And this is just giving us a bit of advice from the Dark Mirror Oracle. Now this oracle is about looking into the reflection of the dark self in order to learn from what is seen there. And we have the child I was meant to be. So this is all about you coming into your own energy and nurturing your true self. You're being a truly authentic person at this time. And this is a wonderful phase for you, because you're experiencing yourself in this high vibrational expression. So you're experiencing your best self, and you're also being perceived well by others as being a person in balance, a person who's warm-hearted and trustworthy and wonderfully creative and inspiring and charismatic. Okay, and so that concludes your reading, Masquerade. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And if you would like to see more Halloween-themed videos, I am going to be doing the Halloween Read-A-Thon on my channel, Mooncat Tarot. And there will be a new video every night for the whole week leading up to Halloween. And you can find that in the playlist, Halloween Read-A-Thon. Okay. Another way to make sure that you catch the Halloween videos would be to subscribe to my videos and then hit the notification bell, and every time a new video is released, you will get a notification. I hope that this reading gave you very valuable messages. It's such an encouraging reading. It's a confirmation of being in the right energy and on the right path, and of life turning out in a very beautiful way. So I wish you the best along this path of life. And thank you again for watching. I will hope to catch you in another video.